So what would you say, or what would you think if I told you that this one lone product is the single most exciting improvement in paramotor lighting that I've seen since I started flying them? Anybody that's ever flown for 1 minute after sunset is going to think this is one of the coolest things they've ever seen. It's snag free, lasts about 40 minutes, and it's a heck of a lot of fun. So if you want to hear the story about how this thing was prototyped and what the status of the project is right now, and most importantly, when and how it's going to go to production, stick around. Well, we get wings laid out. We got James is laid out. He had shoulder surgery. Had nothing to do with flying. JC's out here tonight. Philip, we got Daryl. And it is high time to get in the air. He's on. I had the pleasure of working with Philip on a lot of little projects since we started doing this. And he's a gifted machinist and an avid tinkerer. I like to tinker. But on his first machine, he took one of those big old Fresh Breezes with the J-hook harnesses and machined his own swing arms, made it into a weight shift machine, and sold that, and has just progressively moved to better and better gear. And we cooperated on a lot of little things. He took a couple ideas, admittedly, that I had stolen from other people, and I said, hey, let's work on fixing this or making it better. A long time ago I was messing around with LED lights on my cage, and I never liked the way that the LEDs interfered with the wing. I always said, if I had a Scout, I would laminate the LED strips right to the Scout frame, and I'd just leave it connected the whole time, and they wouldn't interfere. Because, you know, I don't know if you know anything about LEDs, they come printed on a foil backing, and that foil backing is about as thin as tin foil. And that's where all the connections are made. Sometimes those are impregnated in silicone, and then they put a double-sided backing on them, peel the strip off, and you can adhere them to surfaces. But it doesn't work. If you're taking your paramotor apart, and then the grease and oil and all the air flowing by them, they just don't hold their shape. And the subject of LEDs came up again, and he worked on it for a couple months. Told me the problems he was having, and I said, well, what if we made the LEDs integral to the propeller? Man, have we got the answer. These things are probably going to sell easily 300 units. I don't want to be involved in the sale. That's just not where my talents lie. Anyways, let me start this motor.
Hey, where we going?
Huh?
Where we going?
Where were you guys going? I'm the slow guy tonight.
Oh.
So, in the air.
Where's your other wing?
I'm too fat. It's 91 degrees out.
Yeah, 2000 is density altitude.
91 degrees out here.
Okay.
All right.
Hey, we're going that way.
All right, I'll go with you. When I was a kid, I had one of those 201 electronic projects all in one box, and you could make different things, everything from a crystal radio to, and you name it, multimeter. If it was an electronic project, you could make it with one of these kits. And one of the coolest things in there was an LED. You could hook it up with a little 9-volt battery, and that thing would run all night long. wake up in the morning and still be shining. It was way better on power consumption than the typical incandescent light bulb of the day in the late 1970s. As time went on, LED technology has extremely accelerated. In fact, I don't even think that as much as battery technology has reached the limits of current implementation, LEDs have only really started to have the surface scratched when it comes to development. So 5 or 6 years ago, the early LED strips that I was buying from China to put on the outside of my paramotor frame, even those have been radically outpaced by some of the newest technology. And when we talk about the newest technology, we're talking about addressable LEDs in red, green, and blue color. And incidentally, each one of those LEDs has got about 255 levels of volume. And you multiply the 3 of those together, you come up with 16.5 million individual color combinations. And that's what's cool about this project is you can write programs to display pretty much anything that you can imagine. The prototyping of this design does not lend itself well to the manufacturing process. In fact, each one of the 3 operating prototypes that we've put together now, 2 that Philip has in his possession, and then my 140 centimeter prop on my PAP machine, required about 18 man-hours just to install the components. That doesn't count anything of the engineering that went into the project. So the end buyer of the design is going to be Paraswag, and Mark is going to work with some folks to get it to market very quickly here. Most of the bugs have been worked out of it. So although all of the components were derived from open source, commonly available electronics, the design of the controller, the driver, if you will, of the LEDs is going to be proprietary. And with the right people involved, that's going to probably continue to get better than the prototypes that we have. With the right people involved, they can streamline the process and get mass production on the driver for what runs the lights. And I will have a copy of this at the upcoming flying at Mountain City, the Moonshiners flying, and I think that by that time, Philip will have delivered the working prototypes that can be taken to the folks that are going to work on mass producing this for the paramotor industry. And I also believe it will be well worth the money because the numbers they're throwing around are not much more than the purchase of a new propeller. So the proprietary electronics will be incorporated as well as the lights in a manufacturing setting, a controlled environment of a factory, and it will not only work better, it will look a lot better than what we've come up with.